Welcome to East by West Farms. Here we grow what we eat and eat what we grow. Today I'm going to put some trees in the ground. This is the week of Thanksgiving. And in Texas, actually, it's a good time to plant the trees because the weather is not too cold yet, and the trees will be able to grow some roots and then go dormant in January and February, and then come back in spring. That will give the tree enough time to establish the roots before the brutal summer set. When you decide to plant a tree, the location is very important. You're going to plant the trees in the berm of the swale. I will show you the difference between when you plant the tree on the berm of the swale or just plant it in the ground. This tree behind me is a peach tree that we planted 3 years ago. Chris has dug the swale over here to collect the water, and then the earth that get dug up are put over here as a berm. We planted this tree here 3 years ago, and this year we actually got quite some peaches from it. So this tree is well established, and you can see the trunk is quite big. This is a producing tree. I'm going to show a comparison between the tree that's planted on the flat ground and the tree that's planted on the berm. To my right here is the tree that I planted about 6 feet away from the trees planted on the berm. They were planted in the same time. When I plant this tree on my right over here, I actually put a lot of fertilizer underneath before I put the tree on top of it. You can see the size difference between these two trees. The one that planted on the berm is almost twice as tall, has much more branches than the one that planted on the ground. Compare the trunk size also. The one that on the berm is much bigger than the one that planted in the flat ground. Now that we know that planting the trees in the berm help the tree to grow better in our compact Houston black clay, we're going to basically build the berm along the farm, along the contour, and then plant trees so that we can transform this grassland basically into an orchard for us. The berm over here actually is not from digging a swale, it's actually from the pond. So Chris has been digging a pond for the ducks this summer, and this pond of course also have the ducks swim on it and have dumped quite a lot of fertilizer. So when he deepen the pond, he put the soil over here along the contour. The idea is that this will create kind of a berm that slow down the water, so the water will come up and then get soaked into the ground. And of course, the soil here is looser than the native soil of the black clay. Hopefully, that will work well for the trees. Over here, I have 6 trees. I think 2 are they are all grown from seeds. 2 are red buds. They do well over here and they have beautiful flowers. And then these are apple trees that we grown from the seeds we eat. The 2 red bud trees that get dried up somewhat in summer, so they lost the leaves, but I scraped the bark and I can see the cambium layer is still green, so they are still good even though they don't have any branches or anything. And the apple trees are doing okay, so I'm going to plant them in the berm and hopefully they will establish over here. Yeah. All right. Of course, the first thing to plant a tree is you need to dig a hole. Even though the top looks pretty dry, and the soil is actually pretty moist. The soil is very sticky, Houston black clay soil. To line the bottom, I have some fertilizer I collected from the chicken coop, and so I put over there. I put the soil back on so that it doesn't create just a nice environment for the tree so that the root can flare out. And just make sure the soil is compact. And then I water it, and then that is done. So 1 done, 5 more to go. Later fall, early winter is the good time for Texas to put the trees in the ground. In this video, I showed the difference between the trees that were planted on the berm of a swale and a tree that planted on the flat ground. The tree that was planted on the berm is twice as big as the one that planted in the ground. What we learned from our experience that is to build berms in the flat land so that we can catch the water, and then we can plant the trees in the berm, and that's probably is a good way to grow trees in Texas weather, which sometimes could be very dry. So we will see how that works, and we'll give you an update to see how these trees are doing that we planted in the, on the berm this year. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumb up. If you have any questions or comments, please leave it down below. If you have not done so, please hit the subscribe button to follow our journey with the East by West Farms.